It's Ash from SuperVideos back for another video for The Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the scene that was in the latest episode of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. A scene which showed us Daryl talking to Carol on the radio. We're going to talk about who Carol was talking about. Was it Rick? Now, I already did a video on this. We looked at all of the theories in terms of the characters that are more likely to be the person Carol was talking about. But in this one, we're specifically going to focus on Rick. And I'm going to talk about how I think it's probably not Rick. Or if it is, it'll be stupid if it's Rick. So we're going to go through the details of why it couldn't have been Rick. So stay tuned. We'll be right back to break this down. Alright, as always, before we dive into it, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that said, let's dive right into it. So of course, we did see a scene where Daryl was able to communicate with Carol on the radio, and Carol said someone is back or something is back. And Daryl thought that Carol was saying someone is back. And obviously, it was cutting in and out, so we couldn't hear who Carol was talking about, but there was an indication that there was an ick in the name of whoever Carol was talking about. And of course, Rick has an ick in his name. So there's theories that it was Rick and that Carol was talking about Rick. Now, I already talked about some reasons why it probably can't be Rick in my previous video. If they do want this to be Rick, then it's going to be super challenging for them to pull off the timeline of everything. Because if they already mentioned that it could be Rick, and since we know that Carol is coming to the Daryl Dixon spinoff in the second season, that means then that they're either going to have to explain who it was when Carol returns, which means that it's not really going to be a mystery anymore because that'll be after the first season of the Rick and Michonne series. And if that happens, then it's also a big question mark. Why is Carol even out there? Wouldn't she just go tell Daryl that Rick is back, and wouldn't they just return or try to return? So it kind of complicates things as far as how you're going to line everything up and how everything is going to come together. And like I said, it's going to be a question of whether they explain it in the Rick and Michonne spinoff, The Ones Who Live, or season 2 of the Daryl Dixon spinoff, or possibly somewhere else. But a bigger reason why it couldn't have been Rick is because the way Carol mentioned someone is back made it seem like it was an afterthought rather than something that was important. There wasn't too much urgency in the way that Carol was saying it. And that just doesn't make sense. I mean, if Carol communicates with Daryl, the first thing out of her mouth would be, Rick is back. But that's not what happened. They kind of talked about some other thing a little bit, and then Carol just casually brought this up as if it wasn't really that important. And let's not forget, the reason Daryl is out there is to look for Rick. So that makes it even more unlikely that Carol wouldn't just say right away that it's Rick and ask Daryl to come back. So all of those things together makes it extremely unlikely for Carol to have been talking about Rick. So as far as I'm concerned, the Carol was talking about Rick on the radio theory is debunked. So share your thoughts and opinions about this. Do you think it was Rick, or do you not think it was Rick? Who do you think it was? There was already a lot of discussion in my previous video. Let's continue that discussion on this video as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.